I don't know what's going on.
All right, tonight, y'all, we got another good one. We got Miss Lovail Wilson. The ladies have been tearing it up in here. I'm not going to take any time. We're going to start off with Lovail. She's going to take us from childhood all the way up to now. She's got a great story. I'm going to learn some stuff tonight, too. So, Lovail, we want to go back and segue all the way up to where you at now. So, tell us about your childhood.
Hello, I'm Lovail Burton Wilson. I am born and raised in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Two wonderful parents, um, three brothers, two sisters. I'm the oldest. So, yeah, pretty good family. Grew up, my mom and dad, they were all worked for, my dad was a mechanic forever, and my mom worked various jobs, and they both had side hustles. So I grew up knowing that I had to have something else to do other than a job. So that's what I did. That's what I did.
High school, tell us about high school, Lovail.
High school, a long time ago. Uh, it was. I think it was pretty easy for me. I think I was a. I wasn't trying to be a popular kid, but I was kind of popular. I think I was kind of smart, more smart and nerdy than popular. But I was on the dance team, drill team, band, all that kind of stuff just to keep myself busy.
So, what did you do when you graduated from high school?
Oh, we um, got married, and then my husband went to the military, and then he got out, and then I went to the military. I went to the Army, and I did 4 years, and then I got out, and then I went back a little bit later and went to the Navy and got hurt in the Navy after 2.5 years.
And when did you get into hair? Tell us how that came about.
Okay, that's a funny story. Back right after high school, I had graduated at 17. My friend who lived here in Arkansas, her aunt who adopted her lived in St. Louis. So she said, you can come stay with us in St. Louis. And at that time, it was about fashion and learning how to make clothes and stuff. And we thought we were some designers because we can make a lace skirt. We thought we were some fashion designers. So we were going to go to this fashion school together in St. Louis. Well, my mama let me stay up there for about a week. And then she said, I signed you up to barber school. You gotta come home. So I was like, I don't want to go do no hair. I was not interested in hair. My mom was a beautician and she worked in the salon next to the barber school. So she knew the owners very well and they were good together, and everything. So she worked out something with them where I could come to barber school. So um, that's what I did. I had to hurry up, get from St. Louis and start barber school.
Now, what made you go to barber school though? Because Lovail, that was like uncommon for women to go to barber school back then.
Well, my mom, I didn't know any difference at the time. My mom was a barber, but she was working in the salon next to the barber shop, and I've seen her do nothing but hair, really, women's hair. So I still felt like you can still do hair and be a barber.
So you enrolled in school. What year was that?
Oh Lord, you.
Because I went
I've
in
been
'89, and I believe you went before me.
I've been licensed for 36 years now as a barber in the state of Arkansas, and I've been licensed as an instructor for about 35 years because they hired me. The school, they liked me, the owners, as a mom and pop school. And at the time, now they're big time. They at that time it was just us, you know, and small enrollment, but very, very intimate owners. They got to know me. I got to know them. They hired me as an instructor right after I graduated from barber school and took the licensing test. Okay, got my license. They said, "Well, you want to come back and teach for us?" I was like, "I don't want to teach nobody. I barely made it through barber school because at that time it was funny because at that time, long time ago, um, the smocks that we had was bright yellow and cloth. And this barber school had a whole lot of them hanging up back there in the laundry room. And if you came to school with your smock dirty or wrinkled, they'll make you change it. They'll make you change into one that's already pressed and cleaned and everything. But they were cloth. And so I was pregnant. I was pregnant with my twin girls. And anytime that the hair got on me from cutting hair, the little bitty small, little bitty sticky hair, I would just get sick. I would just get so sick. I was like, ugh, cutting hair, ugh, ugh. But they can call me to do all types of women's styles, and I'll be happy to do that. But cutting hair, mm-mm. So I don't know. It was just by the grace of God I passed the state board because the owner, Mr. Bryant, he worked with me relentlessly. He and his son, Ricky Bryant, and everything, they worked with me. They was like, come on, Lovail, you can do this, you can do this, you're gonna pass this board, you gotta do these cuts, you can do it, you can do it. So I became pretty good with the fade, enough, at least enough to get past state board. But the women hairstyles, the jerry curls, the roller sets, all that stuff, everything, all that good stuff, I could do that with my eyes closed.
So now you teaching at the school.
Yeah, at the barber school. Yeah, I was teaching at the barber school. Um, that was an experience because I had, I had to learn. It was like a go to school but teach at the same time. I was going to school for instructor, but I was also hired as an instructor. I guess they could get away with it back then. It probably won't work these days, but back then that's what they did.
So teaching there, how was that?
Um, it was different because I'm teaching people that were my age or a little bit younger or either older. I taught the floor. I didn't teach theory. There was another lady back there teaching theory, but I taught everything on the floor. I taught all the practical stuff.
So how was it teaching them? Can you tell us some of the experiences?
Uh yeah, having to clock people out because they're not listening or not doing I just didn't I wasn't aware of my authority as an instructor because I was young and I felt like I got to do that. I got to tell them they can't come, or I got to clock them out because they're not doing something. And they had a strict policy that you can't turn down a ticket. You can't turn down the students can't turn down a service request, right? And a lot of the students did not want to do different things that came in the door. They'd be like, oh, I ain't cutting today. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that roller set. I ain't doing this. I don't want to do this. And you can't make me. Okay. And at first, I really thought I couldn't make them. And then Mr. Bryan, they were like, yes, you can. You're the instructor. So, but I was just as young as they were, pretty much. And so it's kind of hard, to get that respect. But eventually they did. Along with the owners having my back.
So how long did you teach there?
Well, I taught there for about 2 years, and then I think that was before I got married, of course. And then so that's when my husband and I we went on and we went to Fort Stewart, Georgia, where he got stationed. And that's where we went on from there.
Okay, so then you went to Fort Stewart, then what?
Mhm. I was married and just working in the shop there in Fort Stewart, well, Hinesville, Georgia. That's the city off the base of Fort Stewart. And I thought I was the best thing since sliced bread because nobody was doing hard curls and finger waves and scrunches and all the high hair with the hairspray and the buns and French rolls. Nobody was doing that there. So here this girl comes from North Little Rock, Arkansas. You know, at first I was like, I can't compete with these people in Georgia, but they laid out the red carpet for me. I did hair shows, I did hosted classes. They thought I was all that.
So how long were you doing that there in
I
Georgia?
did that until he left there 4 years, and then I went into the military. When he did his 4 years, and then I left, I went to the military, and got stationed at um, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. That was where I did boot camp. And that's where I stayed.
And what were you doing while you was in the military them 4 years?
I was admin. I just did payroll, and that was my job, admin stuff.
And so then you did the 4 years there and then you got out.
Yeah. And then I came back to Arkansas, and then I worked in schools and everything, different, and had salons. I had salons and worked in schools. And then I said, you know what, I'm gonna try. Um, he and I got divorced. My husband and I got divorced. And then I said, I'm gonna, you know what? I like the military, but I don't want to go back to the Army. So I'm gonna go to the Navy this time. And so Navy was a different branch, but it was easier since I was prior service. So they didn't treat me so bad in boot camp. I didn't have to do as much as everybody else did in boot camp because I was already prior service. So it was okay. Then that was Great Lakes, Illinois. And then I went to from boot camp, I went to AI school in Great Lakes, Illinois. And then I went to my duty station, which was Mayport, Florida. In Mayport, Florida, my job, I was a medic and I was driving the ambulance. It was a small base, small Navy base, and my job it was to drive the ambulance, and the ambulance and our base was kind of like on the beach. Mayport is a beach, so my we would drive. I was driving the ambulance to go pick up somebody, and clipped the car. A car did not stop, so I clipped him, and the ambulance fell over. It's flipped over. I'm in it, so I'm hurt. So here comes another ambulance and fire truck coming to get me and the two other girls that were in there, to get us out. And so yeah, we were all hurt.
So y'all go to the hospital.
We went right back to where we came from. Yes, right back to where we worked at.
And how long you stay in the hospital?
About a week. About a week after and then they say you go home for light duty. And I was set to go to in the Navy, there's a thing called land duty and sea duty. And sea duty means, it doesn't mean that you have to go to sea. It just means that you have to go somewhere where there's a lot of water. And I was set to go to Spain. That was my next duty station. That's where I wanted to go. That's where I picked. And because of my injuries, they canceled it, and they said I was no longer fit for duty.
So then what? You got an honorable discharge? Or
Of course. Yeah, I got 100%, 100 and something else percent, because I was really hurt. So I'm still hurt. And one thing leads to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. So yeah.
So then did you leave and go back to Arkansas?
I did. I left and came home to Arkansas opened up shops and didn't like that
Why
very
not?
well. Well, first of all, I wasn't able to stand and do all that bending, and it became a problem, more problematic than it would have been without those injuries.
Okay. And so when did you start thinking about a school? Tell us
Oh,
about that.
my first school, when I started thinking about school, was when I decided to go work for this school, this small school in a small town. And I was going to be I was going to be the director. Now, not the owner, just the director. He wanted to have more diversity, I should say. Hmm. And I was supposed to attract students of color, you know, to
Mm-hmm.
this school, which I did. But this guy was not taking financial aid, and he could not pay me. And I was driving maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get to him every day, to that school. Yeah, the lunches was good. Yeah, he gave me gas money. Yeah, yeah. All the promises. I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna pay you. Oh, we doing wonderful sales on the floor. Got students to come in there and everything like that. Just couldn't pay me. He couldn't pay me. And so I just got fed up. It was one morning, one Saturday morning, I was supposed to go and open up, and it was pouring down, thundering, raining, and I hated to drive. I didn't want to drive anyway, but I really didn't want to drive in that rain. So I don't care how much I said I was going to help him out. I want to help you. I want to help you. I want to help you grow. I want to help you. I didn't want to drive in the rain. And I started out driving there, and something said, pull over to the gas station. And so I said, I'll go ahead and get me a Mountain Dew, and maybe I'll feel better. I can keep going, even in the rain. And he called me and he said, why are you not there yet? I said, excuse me? I said, do you see the storm out here? Do you see it's raining cats and dogs and pigs and horses and stuff. I can hardly see. I pulled over to try to let the rain go away a little bit and get me something to drink, maybe to calm my nerves, because this is awful. And then he was like, if I can't trust you to to be on time as my director, what are you here for? He was a person of another color. So for him to talk to me that way, and then he wasn't paying me, and then I was trying to get there in the rain on my own dime, pretty much. I said, you know what? I'm not coming. And then also, not only that, the stuff that I had to go through at his school, because being a woman of color, a woman barber, and a woman instructor, and a woman left in charge, and a black woman at that in that little small town. Those patrons, the customers didn't want me to touch them. The students were looking at me like, "Who are you? You you N-word, you this, that, you can't tell me what to do. I can't believe he left you in charge. Who are you?" So that's what I had to go through. So all of that combined with what he was doing and the rain and stuff that day and the drive, I was like, you know what? I'm not going. So I turned around and went back home, got in my house, and I called him. I said, look here, I need you to have my check ready for all that I had wrote down everything that, he was owing me. I said, I need you to have my check ready, or I'm gonna turn you into the state board. And I mean it, because I'm licensed and you haven't been paying me. And
And what
so he eventually, about 2 or 3 weeks later, he sent me my money. So really, he had it all along. He had it, but he just was trying. I think he was trying me and trying to see how much I was taking. I was wanting to be a director. Ooh, somebody called me a director of a barber school. Oh yeah. I wanted that title so bad that I was hungry. And I said, I tried his school to be the director. And so after that, I worked for another local barber school as their program campus director again. And that didn't work out very well for about 2 years. That didn't
Why
work
not?
out because it was too many of us in charge, and nobody knew what they were doing. Everybody in the admin part of the school were not barbers. They were not instructors. They were just admin people. So that clashed with what I knew as in the field. I knew what barbers and what instructors really needed to do. All they saw was the paperwork part and the admin part. So that didn't work for me. So I left. Uh, and then I said, I can open my own school. That was 2017. I decided to open my own school. Now, the thing about Arkansas, it was regulated by some old people of another color, I should say. And these old people sitting on the board told me that there cannot be another barber college within 100 miles. No, there cannot be another barber college in Central Arkansas. So I heard that and I said, okay, I don't have to be in Central Arkansas. I can go north. I can go north. So I went way down. Is that north? I don't know what it is, but I went about an hour and a half away from Central Arkansas. I went to Camden, Arkansas. Okay. And Camden, Arkansas is a little one road, one road, one straight shot highway in and one straight shot highway out. So I found a building. It was a church building, an old church building that had been sitting there collecting dust. It had the pews and the red carpet and everything, and the stage, and it had everything. So um, it was a good deal. The lady made me a really good deal. So I took it and I rehabbed that whole building and everything. But in the meantime, my mom was sick and she was in Fort Smith. So I'm going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that got to be too much. So I moved my mom with me to take care of her. And she got really sick and I couldn't like leave her no more and stuff. So I closed my school down in Camden. Plus, it was a lot of wear and tear on me. Okay. Honestly, it was a lot. So I closed that school down in Camden. My mom passed in 2019 of COVID, before they knew exactly what COVID was. She passed in July 2019. Okay. I was in a depression. I lost my best friend, my mom. So I just decided, I said, I'm not going to do hair. I'm not going to have a shop. I'm not going to do anything. But I had all this stuff in storage. And my dad, he's 81 now, but he told me, he said, you know what? If you don't get that stuff out of storage, all you're doing is paying people money to store up stuff, but you're still buying stuff. You're still buying stuff. And you got a whole house in the back of your house full of barber stuff and salon stuff. And then you got some storage rooms that you're paying for. So I was like, okay, All right. So that got me to thinking. And then my daughters too, I have twin girls, and they were like, you got to do something with this stuff, Mom. You got to do something. You gonna sit down now? You gonna sit down now? So I was like, okay, all right. So I got to driving around, and at first I opened up a shop here in Jacksonville. I opened up, and I think I was in there for about 6 months. I didn't like booth renting to people. It just brought up the bad memories. I don't know why I thought I was gonna. I thought I was gonna. I thought it was gonna be different this time. Mm-mm. Nope. So booth renting to people. I had a nail tech, had a barber, I had a beautician, a hairstylist in there, and it was awful.
What
It
was
was
wrong? It awful?
because booth renting. I don't even live in Jacksonville. I live about 15, 20 minutes away from Jacksonville. So, but I wanted to open up a salon in Jacksonville. Um, I don't know why, but I did. And something said, drive up there, drive here, drive to your salon on a Sunday. It was like Party City at my salon on a Sunday. I don't know what these people were doing, but they had every light on. The air was on 60 something. The it was people in there. It smelled like ooh wee. The trees were blowing. I was mad. I was mad. And these were the same people that were renting booths but couldn't pay their booth rent. But they were there on a Sunday. So I was mad. I was like,
What'd you do?
I just walked in and they were like, oh, hey, Miss Wilson, how you doing? You know, and you know, the monomer from the nail tech, she thought that I was stupid enough to feel, not know the difference in the nail smell and the trees and the breeze smell. And I was like, wait a minute. I don't know what's going on. They had the music playing, they had beverages on a Sunday. They just had it going on. They had my TV on in my little private office. They had the TV on in the lobby. And I just said, okay, this is how y'all in here working, but booth rent was due on Friday and nobody paid me. How? In my shop, yes, Victoria. Yes, yes, in my shop. So I just made up in my mind. I said, look, I'm about to go down here to the Walmart and I'm going to go shopping to get some retail therapy because I need it right now. And I'm gonna come back and my shop better be cleaned up and y'all better leave my money or all of y'all can go. Nobody left no money. They were all gone when I came back with the air still on, the lights still on. They left a mess. And so I just told them the next week or so, I said, don't worry about paying me. Don't worry about it. I called their landlord and I told him, I said, I will be moving. I will not be doing this no more. And so, but I had already had plans to, in my mind, I wanted a school anyway, but I just didn't think, I was going to do it again. But I had already had eyes on a building across the street from the shop. And it was like a warehouse kind of building, just a shell. I think it had furniture in it. Somebody was selling furniture. Yes, they were taking advantage of me. But somebody was selling furniture out of that building. And I talked to the landlord and he was like, I'm putting them out. I'm putting them out next week. If you want the building, just give me $500 and you can have the building. I'll sign the lease to you right now. I said, really? For real, right now. And so I said, "You gonna have all that stuff out?" And he was like, "Yeah, they're gonna be out. I promise you." So I signed the lease with him about a week or so later, and then I signed the lease, gave him the money, and it was on from there. I had me a school, a building, I should say. I had a building.
So you had the building, then what? What was next? After
It
you
was terrible. It was terrible. It was about 3,800 square feet of terrible. It was awful, Chin. It was bad. It
what
was
do you
just like,
mean?
it was empty. I mean, it was just concrete slab, uh, straight walls. It was just a shell of a building. It was just nothing inside, just concrete floor. The floors were terrible. Didn't know at the time um that the the plumbing was terrible. The bathrooms, I had two bathrooms in the back. Only one toilet was functional. Um, we had to do the whole root, like a root canal to a tooth. We had to do that to the plumbing, and then found out when I got ready to get the sinks installed, the pipes underneath the slab were old and corroded. There were those old copper pipe things. And
Mhm.
so well, I say we because I had to pay for it. I didn't do the work. But the plumber had to take the jackhammer and, bust up the slab, the concrete, to put new pipes underneath and everything, new water pipes. And then, so that was done. That was a lot of money too. And then, so that was done. And then next came the electric. There was no electric there. There was the only electric. The only electric was there was I should say it was no electric for my purposes. I had to have plugs and stuff and outlets and everything like that. Excuse me. I had to have new electrical wire ran because I wanted ceiling fans and more lighting and electrical that would be able to for my dryers to hook up to so that it won't pop at the breaker box. The breaker won't pop. So I had to have all that done. And I did. I had to get it done. But guess what?
What?
I got a boot it wait a minute. Not bootleg. He was he was licensed. He seemed so legit. He had a whole crew and everything. I paid this man about $4,000 to do the electrical. City Code came in and said, that's wrong. All of that's going to be taken out. I was like, why? Wait a minute. And then this man didn't even pull a permit with the city. So they were mad. They were mad. So I had to get another electrician to come in and redo what that person did. And luckily, well, I tried to find this old electrician after I had paid him and everything. I couldn't find him. I couldn't find him. So luckily, wait a minute though, I paid through what I paid through? Venmo. I had paid him through Venmo. And luckily I kept they kept an account of the transaction, and I told them that I was disputing it because after 2-3 months I couldn't find this man. I couldn't find him to come back to make him redo everything up to code. And so Venmo gave me my money back. Thank the Lord. They gave me my money back. And so that helped me to be able to pay this other man another $4,000 to come and redo what this other guy did, and he pulled a permit. So the city liked him. So I had everything. Oh, y'all getting ready for this. Hold on. I had everything up and running. Everything was going fine. Everything was ready for inspection, right? For this from the state board. State board came the first time. That they came twice. The first time he came, he said, "You're not ready yet." I was like, "What you mean? I'm not ready yet?" I know these people, so I've been dealing with them for years and years. So I know the inspector. I was like, "What you mean I'm not ready yet? What you mean? You just trying to give me a hard time? What's wrong with you? What's wrong? Why?" And he was like, "Miss Wilson, clean it up a little bit better." I was like, "What you talking about?" He said, "The floors need to be redone." I was like, "Oh my God." Because at that time, it was just a concrete floor. And I thought it was okay. He said no. So I had to get the floors, what do you call it, epoxy or whatever, to
Yeah.
make them look shiny and pretty and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So even though I had the stations all set up and nice and neat, and I thought they were nice and everything looked good, he said the floors were not. So, okay, so then I had to redo everything. I had to take do a section at a time and let that dry. So then I called him back and I got everything all ready. And then so he came back and he said, "Okay, you're ready to open." That was September 2022 when he finally gave me my license, right? For the second school. I was so happy. I was starting to take students, I was ready to take their money and this and that. Uh, Tornado came through. Little thing called tornado. Tornado came through and tore up Jacksonville, tore it up, tore up that whole city, tore up that whole little section where my school was, tore down the business next to me, tore down the church next to me. I remember my dad. He one of the things about the city inspection, you have to pass a fire code inspection before you get your business license for the city. The building had a door, and if you know anything about exit doors, you know that they have to push out when you're inside. So the doors have to push out. The doors can't swing in if you're on the inside of the building. For a quick exit, that the door has to push out. So I had a door, and at first the door swung in when on the inside. And so my dad took it upon himself to take that door and switch it around, take the whole frame off of it, switch it around, and my colors were bright yellow and red. Okay. When the tornado came, guess what was still standing?
The doors.
Nothing but that door with the frame. So everybody, if you research Jacksonville tornado 2022, 2020, I think it was like right before 2023. But anyway, if you research, you'll see the building on Stone Street in Jacksonville. Nothing was standing. It was a bunch of rubbish from buildings, my stuff included. And the only thing that was left there was a yellow door with a frame. That was my that was my dad's door. He put up. He was so proud. He was like, "Well, at least my door didn't fall." I was like, "But my stuff is gone." But good thing I had insurance, and insurance paid for everything, and so I just had to relocate. But guess what that means? Guess what that meant though for the state board?
What, come back out?
No, a whole nother license,
Okay.
another $500. I had just got the license in September. This wasn't even This wasn't even 23. This wasn't even this was September 2022. And then this happened right before 23. So this wasn't even a year. This wasn't even 6 months. And then so since I had to relocate, the state board charged me another processing fee, another application fee. They had to come out, do another inspection and everything. And I said I found another building, and I happened to find a building that was used to be a dentist office, so it had rooms, not an open clinic floor. You know, most schools have like an open concept floor plan, right? This one didn't. This one had have rooms, but it has like four or five big rooms. So I when the state board came out for their preliminary inspection to tell me if this building would be suitable, they tried to bring up things like excuse me, they tried to bring up things like um you don't have an open floor plan. I read all of fine print. I've been in this game for 36 years. I know those rules and regs by heart, right? And I took them to the regs. I said, hey, there is nowhere in the rules and regs that said I have to have an open floor plan. My clinic floor does not have to be open. Show me. So I had to go to the board meeting, and like my dad said, don't be afraid of anybody because they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like you do. Don't be afraid. So I went before the board, and I took them to the regs, to the regulations. And I said, hey, show me where it says I have to have an open clinic floor. Show me. They couldn't. They couldn't. So I said, okay. So they said, you are approved. You can go ahead and, and we'll come back out and do the main inspection. So they came out. It took me a long time to get everything together, but finally I've been approved about a week now, and I got my license. I can't hear you.
Okay. So how did you feel when you got approved?
To me, I was already approved because I've been doing this forever, so I already knew that what are they gonna do? And the thing about it is, I paid my money. Thank you, Charles. I paid my money. I did the application. I followed all the rules on the application, but the director of the state board, she sent my application back to me at first and said, thank you all. She sent it back to me and said that my hours, because not only am I a barber school owner, I'm a high school teacher. I teach high school Monday through Friday, every day. So my thing was I was going to open at night from 5 to 9, right? And then on Saturdays, they said, no, you have to have at least 7. When your students are there, they have to have at least 7.5 hours of school. 2.5 hours theory every day that they're there, 5 hours of practical. So that meant that on the application, it was not going to be approved at 5 to 9. I had to go back and put it at 1:30 to 9. Mm-hmm. So that was the way that they approved the application. And then when the guy came out, the inspector came out, I was so tired of Chin, I was so tired of dealing with them. I just sat down in the front. I sat down in the front. I didn't follow him. I didn't say nothing to him. He walked in, he said, hey, Miss Wilson, you ready? I said, I'm ready as I'm gonna be. And he just walked on through. He said, you're gonna come back here and show. I said, you see what everything is? I don't need to follow you. You're gonna write what you're gonna write. So you're gonna give me the report. You're gonna give me the report. And so he came back and he had this thing, this inspection report, and I passed everything. I passed everything, so everything was good. And so he didn't give me a hard time. And he said, "Okay, Miss Wilson, you're gonna get your license." Okay, so then they sent me the email so I can download my license, and that's what happened.
Now, when did we beat Lovail?
Whew. We met. Well, I say
I'm
I've been
across the
watching you. I've been watching you since well before 2017, but I was skeptical. I thought it was too good to be true. I was like, this man ain't giving this information away for free. I know he not. Who is this person? Who is this chin man? Who is this millionaire barber? Who? What is he doing? Why he giving stuff away? And then so I just kept going to the meetings, to the mastermind meetings, sneaking in, just listening, just watching, just checking. And I said, okay, he might know a little something. Okay. So let me go ahead, and then so finally I think in 20, what was it, 20, I guess it's like 2021, 2022, something like that. I decided to go ahead and buy the program. And I think I called you, and because you said you can set up a free call. And I said, and I didn't think you were gonna call. And so you called me. He's like, "Hi, Lovail, how can I help you?" And I was like, you really called me? So I didn't really think you were gonna call me because I really thought it was a fly by night. I didn't know who you were. And I was like, okay, this man really called me. He good with his stuff. He really trying to sell whatever he's scamming. So, and I was like, okay, let me go ahead. And then so you convinced me. And I told you I was I had the money, but I was like, I'm gonna see if he'll work with me on a payment plan. And I was like, you said, how much can you pay? And so I told you, and you was like, yeah, I could do that. I was like, oh, he really trying to get people money. This is the easy, this man, he really trying to sell whatever, he's scamming us. So because and then it was I said I'm gonna do it through PayPal because I was like if it's a scam, I'm gonna get my money back. So PayPal don't play. So I said I'm gonna get my money back if I promise you that. He's not gonna scam me. And so I got to listening and I got to going through the millionaire, the barber masterminds and everything. And I said, okay, I'm learning something. Then I didn't get the gold. I did get the bronze. That's all I could really afford. But then I get the bronze and everything. And I learned a lot because even though I was an instructor for all this time and a barber for all this time and ran other people's schools, you never know what's the back office part until you get to running your own. And your program kind of helped me learn the back office part, like knowing that I had to know what you see, um all the aspects of running a school. No amount of me working in the schools, other people's schools taught me that. And as a matter of fact, the people that I worked for, um, and I could tell you, I have worked in almost every barber school here in Central Arkansas. Yes, as an instructor. So the people that I worked for did not help me. They did not give me any information. And God is my witness. I asked them for information when I first tried to open up a school. Nobody would help me. Nobody would give me any insight. So I learned a lot from your program, Chin, and I just want to say thank you for taking a chance on me.
Well, I thank you, Lovail, because you've been in the industry a long time. And a
Yeah.
lot of people do think it's a scam or I'm a scam. And I'm always wondering, well, what's making them think that or whatever? Or when did you come to the conclusion that it wasn't? Because you had been looking for a while and stuff. What
Yeah.
was making you think it was a scam? And then what made you think that it wasn't?
Because I saw the advertisements, I saw the YouTube, I saw everything that you were doing on Facebook, and everything was popping up on YouTube and everything. I wasn't a big Instagram person. Mm-mm. I don't know too much about Instagram. I still don't. I have an Instagram, but I don't know a lot about it. Look, I'm old school. I'm learning. But yeah, so I saw you on Facebook, I saw you on YouTube, and there's a lot of in the mastermind groups and stuff. I was like, okay, if he's a scam, why is he giving away all this information? You know, why is he giving away all this information and stuff? So, and you were giving away things that I should have known, having schools and working for schools. So, you know, but I didn't know. I did not know until I first, had to experience it for myself. And what you taught us, what you were teaching in the blueprint program, it reinforced what I already knew.
Hmm. Now, did you look at other people? How you and I are talking right now? Did you look at other people that had talked or shared their story?
Yes, yes, that inspired me a lot too. Hearing their stories and stuff like that. So yeah, I could relate with a lot of them.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, I think so. What would you tell a person? Because you've been licensed, what, 36 years now, Lovail?
Yes.
What what would you tell a beauty professional?
Have an exit plan. Have an exit plan. Figure out what you're gonna do. You're not gonna be behind that chair forever. You're not gonna be able to do it. You're gonna get fed up. Your body may give out, your health, or you may have to go take care of a loved one, and you're not gonna be able to manage your business, like you thought you could. It could be family, it could be kids, it can be mom, dad, or it could be you, you know, and bending over the chair and over the sinks and stuff like that, dealing with no shows, dealing with booth rent, dealing with paying rent for a business that's not sure. I guess no business is sure, but I'd rather take a chance on big money than $50, 200, $100 or $75, for doing hair. So that's what I would tell you. To have an exit plan, have a plan B.
Now, what were you thinking about the paperwork and documents in the back office?
Oh Lord. I needed that. I needed to know all that stuff. I have never seen that before. Those documents, um, the checklist, the um, the lesson plans, the curriculum, the catalog. That was the all I did was cut and paste and put my little logo here and there and put my name, took everything out of red and put my little name on there and stuff like that. Yeah, so that was very much useful to me. Hmm.
Now, did you reach out to me anytime during this process?
Yes, a
How was that?
lot.
And
I
how
did
was that?
a lot.
I know you did.
I did it. Because I was unsure about some things and had some questions and stuff, and then anything that I ask you, anytime I needed you, I could email you. I could text you. You got you gave me a number. I text, I call, I email, and you'll always respond. That was
So
that was everything to me.
that I wasn't, or what were you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I figure, you got a million other people to deal with, So, well, how would you take time to answer my questions and stuff, but you always did.
Okay. Um, it was some other question. Now, how are your twins doing?
They're doing fine. They're doing just fine. They one is a nurse and one is she does braid wigs and everything. She's my admin person and they own a cleaning company. So I make them clean up for me.
Now, how did you
Thank you.
continue to move forward? Because for you to lose your mother and your best friend, that had to be a lot. Can you kind of tell us about that? Because everybody in life, I believe, is going to experience some kind of setback or something detrimental, just something in life. I mean, when it rains on the just and the unjust. So
Mm-hmm.
can you tell us how you were able to move forward and all that? Because everybody on here, they're gonna go through something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was through prayer and supplication and um just a lot of reflection and my mama was a go-getter and so I don't think she wanted me to just sit down and grieve forever. She wanted me to keep going. All I talked about was having a school. So, the last thing she told me, before she was not able to talk anymore, she told me to make sure I do what I said I was going to do.
So you did it.
Yes,
Now,
thank
what
God.
about your friend? Because you said your best friend, didn't you say
My
your,
mom was my best friend.
okay.
That's what I was meant, like my best friend.
Now, how old was your mom?
My mom was 66 when she passed.
66.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when she moved and came and lived with you, right?
Yes, I took her in.
Took care of her.
Mm-hmm.
Did that
Yeah.
help, since you were able to take her in and take care of her, how did that make you feel?
Well, I still had to work. So I had, she had a nurse to come in, and then I had my daughters to come in around, when the nurse would leave. And then I would get home about 3 something and everything. So, but it made me feel proud to be able to do it
Mm-hmm.
because, I wasn't using her money for nothing, her pension. I let her, my mama liked, she was sick, but she knew how to use the phone to call to order Uber Eats. And I don't know how that lady would get to how she would get to the door to let the to get her food. I don't understand that, but that's still a mystery to us today, because in between people that were coming, she'll hurry up and tell people to go ahead and leave. She's fine. Y'all gonna leave. Okay, gonna leave. But I look on her account, on her bank account. It's Uber Eats, DoorDash, Uber Eats. Uber
What
Eats.
was she eating? What was she ordering?
She was ordering. She had to have this McDonald's coffee every morning, the cafe caramel macchiato, something,
Mm-hmm.
something, and she just had to have a McMuffin every morning, and she had to have this chocolate cake from this deli down the street, just stuff like that. She said, and she never really ate the whole thing. She said she just want to taste it.
Mm.
And then so when I asked her about, I said, "Why are you ordering this stuff and you ain't even eating this stuff?" And she's like, "It's my money. Am I bothering you? Am I asking you for anything? I ain't even asking you for nothing. So let me live in peace. And this is what I want to do with my money. You don't have anything to say about it." I said, "But I want to know how you get into the door. That's a secret, huh?" but some kind of way she was getting to the door to get that food that she ordered.
Mm. Mm. What would you tell if you had to go back, since you've been licensed over 36 years, what would you tell your younger self? Knowing everything that you know now,
Oof.
what would you tell us about that?
I think I would tell my younger self to um I wish I would have started this journey earlier instead of trying to open up shops and stuff like that. I would be further ahead in the school business than trying to make shops, um salons be popular. I was trying to be successful in salons, and that was taking a bunch of money from me. I could have took that money and that equipment and stuff like that and opened up probably 2 or 3 schools by now if I would have did it back then.
Okay. Do you have time for Q&A? Any Q&A?
Sure.
Okay. With you opening a school from scratch, with it being just a shell, what can you tell the people when they're going to look for a building before they even sign the lease? Based on your experience, what would you tell them to do, not to do?
Okay, what I would tell you to do is make sure the plumbing is intact so that you can connect to the plumbing lines. Ask the landlord or the owner of the building when was the last time the plumbing lines have been serviced. You need to find out if the plumbing lines are under the slab or is it a crawl space. Preferably a crawl space, because that's somebody can go up under the crawl space and they can work on the plumbing lines. I learned the hard way. I got a building that was my second school was on a slab. We had to do jackhammer stuff. We had to use a jackhammer to get up the concrete and then lay new plumbing lines down and then redo the concrete. So that was a lot of money and a lot of hard work. So make sure that's done. And also make sure, because you're gonna need plugs. You're gonna need plugs for each station. And you're gonna need plugs for your dryers. Your hair dryers that sit up on the dryers, they carry voltage. They have a lot of voltage. So look on the back of that dryer and make sure that your outlet that you're plugging it to will be able to hold it. Because if not, as soon as you plug that dryer in and turn it on, the breaker will pop. That's a shortage. So you have to make sure that your voltage in your electrical outlets will be able to hold that circuit. Um, Add up and get you if you can get a landlord that will do the build out for you, that's wonderful. But if not, just know that it's gonna cost you, and uh you can't. Most cities have a city inspection before you get your business license. You have to get a certified licensed professional to be able to pull that permit to do the work in your building for most cities. Okay, that's just the city license. That's not the state board professional license. Um, and you don't call a state board until after you call the city. The city has to approve it first, and you have to get the city license first before you get the state board license. That's your main, your professional barber school license. You don't call the state board until after the city has approved you for their inspection.
What would you tell them, Lovail, about a contractor?
A contract with who? The students?
No, a contractor to do the work. Do you remember that contractor ran
Oh,
off?
yes. Check the people out before you hire them, before you pay them. Make sure you don't pay them in cash. Don't pay them with a check. If you pay them, have some type of tracking that you can verify, that you can always go back and okay, let me tell y'all something about PayPal. If you pay somebody on PayPal, don't pay them using friends and family. Do not do that. Don't ever pay nothing on PayPal using friends and family. A lot of scammers will say, "Oh, you can pay me on PayPal, but in order to not pay the fee, just put it under friends and family." Guess what? PayPal will not track a friends and family transaction. They won't. So make sure you always do it with the purchase protection, so that if something happens and you got all your proof that something was not right on their end, the person that you're paying, you can always dispute it and you can get your money back. That's another thing. But always check the people out. Every person that's a contractor is supposed to have a license. Check with the licensing board with your state and make sure that that person is licensed. The license is valid and not expired. And if you need to call the board, the licensing board, like the plumbers have a plumber's licensing board. The electricians have an electrician licensing board. Call those licensing boards for your state and check that person out. If the licensing board cannot verify them, don't do it. Don't do it, because if something happens and the work that they do will not pass city code, you can't find them, and you don't have a leg to stand on. So that's what I would say about that.
Now, what would you say about having insurance on your school, Lovail? Can you tell them about that?
Insurance saved my life, because when storms come, and the landlords, they'll have insurance on their building, but what about your stuff? What about the stuff that you have inside your building, your equipment, your computers, your stations, your chairs, your shampoo bowls, everything that you put into your building? What about you? What about your stuff that your hard-earned money paid for to be able to furnish the school? Well, you better have some insurance. So, I found a policy that I only have to pay $57 a month. Okay, so search around, find some insurance, and make sure you're covered, because things happen. It could have a storm, or it could have a roof leak, and there it is, raining on your hard work that you've paid for, and your stuff is ruined. So have some insurance.
Okay. You've given us some very good information tonight, Lovail, and we learned a lot just based on
Yeah, I did.
a lot of things that you've
Oh,
done
Lord.
and went through. So
Yeah.
a lot of people are going to learn from what you've done, which has been a great help. Somebody asked a question about what was your budget for the school? Dr. Lake asked that.
Um, the first school, the school in Camden, I promise you, y'all, I had credit cards. I was in so much debt. I was applying for this credit card, this credit card. I was robbing Peter to pay Paul, really, literally. Um, I had used equipment. There was a school that was closing. I went to that school and I asked if I could buy all of their chairs for a certain price, and they gave me a good deal. The chairs did not match the stations. I wish I could show y'all the pictures. The chairs did not match the stations. And but we made it. You know, it was a school. My mirrors didn't match the chairs. My dryers were old and decrepit. My shampoo bowls, the only thing that was new was the shampoo bowls, because I said I was going to buy some shampoo bowls. And in my state, in Arkansas, you have to have 8 shampoo bowls. 8. You have to have 15 chairs, and a shampoo bowl for every chair, for every 2 chairs. So I had to have 8 shampoo bowls.
Would you tell a person to start out big or start out small in opening a school?
Start small, because you gotta think about, you don't need, I guess I was telling you about the old school, the first school that I had, I should say, the first school. You don't have to have shiny and new. Don't go into debt trying to be shiny and new right away. Make the money first, and then you can always replace. You can replace different things. You can replace the chairs. You can replace the stations. You can replace the dryers. You don't have to have shiny and new. That's the mistake a lot of people do. They make is they go out and they say, "Oh, I got to have new this and new that." Nope. The regulation says you have to have working order, chairs and everything in good working order. It doesn't say that they have to be brand new. They don't say they have to be all matching. It don't say that they all have to be barber chairs. It don't even say that they have to have headrests for the barber board. It don't say that. It says good barber chairs in good working order.
Okay.
So start off is the best way that you can start off, and then you can always add and replace when you make more money.
All right. Anything you want to leave them with, Lovail?
I wanted to show you all my school. I don't know how I can do that. I guess I could take my laptop and we can go on a little trip.
Yeah, we're going to take them on a tour.
Let me see how I can turn. How do I turn the camera around?
Now on the laptop, I don't know if you can do that on the laptop.
Oh,
But I mean, you can just turn the computer around
okay. I'll do that.
on it
Okay, let me see.
and narrate it.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if y'all can see. This is the office area. It's a mess, but this is the office area where I sit at all the time and come up with stuff. Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm. Now, is that some kind of computer system you got there? A time clock system? What's that at?
Right here in front of us. That's my
That
desktop computer.
computer, that little the white thing to the right.
Oh, that's my printer.
No, to the other way then. That'd be your left.
Oh, right here.
Yes.
That's my POS. That's my little
On the
cash
shelf.
register thing.
Okay.
Okay. Then I have my time clock here. Can y'all see that? You have to have a time clock. And I got that from Amazon, and it was about 60 something. No, about $80. $80. Y'all see all my old equipment that I had. Okay, now we're going down the hall. Show y'all this area. This is my little kitchen area. Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Kitchen, little break room area. Nothing fancy, just a little area. And like I said, this used to be a dentist's office, so it has a lot of rooms.
Yeah, it's a nice building.
Thank you. It's about 2,500 square feet.
Oh, wow.
This is one of the rooms. Sorry. Y'all bear with me. This is one of the rooms. Y'all see?
Mm-hmm. It's like a suite.
Yeah, they're kind of like suites. And this is another room.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is,
So I want to tell you about these stations. The stations, if y'all can see the stations, it's
Mhm.
really a workbench.
A
It's a
workbench.
workbench.
Mm.
And I bought them from the hardware store, and they were like they had a sale for $65. So I bought them. I bought a lot of them
Mm-hmm.
for $65 each.
Mm.
And this is another room. Can y'all see that?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we can really see it now.
Okay. Sorry. Uh, I'm trying to do it. And state board, you have to have your barber side jars on the stations.
Mm-hmm.
They have barber side jars. And this is another room.
You got a lot of rooms.
Can y'all see? It used to be a dentist office. So it had plugs everywhere. Thank
Mm.
God. This is my shampoo room.
Okay.
Now, as you see, I had to take two bowls off the wall because the city required that I only had 6 bowls on the wall. The state board told me I had to have 8 bowls. So, in order to get my city license, I had to take 2 bowls off the wall. So there they are. There's one. There's the other one, waiting to be reinstalled on the wall.
Mm.
Okay. You got to have a dirty towel um, hamper, and then you have to have all of your charts, your lymphatic, digestive, respiratory, endocrine. Sorry, the skin. You got to have that. You got to have the skeletal system chart. Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
You got to have the nervous system, the human hair, the circulatory system. I got all those off of Amazon. This is my lobby. And you got to have a sign saying all services are done by students under the direction of a licensed barber instructor. You got to have a sign saying that. And this is just the bathroom. This is my lobby/classroom that we'll probably never use
Mm.
because it's I'll probably just teach them inside the where the stations are. This
Mm-hmm.
you have to have a whiteboard. So I have that. And then I want to show y'all something else. Going back through the through the front office part. This is my lab. This is where we will be having. This is where all my mannequins are. See them?
Mm-hmm.
I have a sink for color. I have tripods, and then have a storage closet. So yeah, that's it.
That place is pretty big. A lot of
Yeah,
room.
it's like 2,500 square feet.
Hmm.
It's expensive too. I think so. But anyway, it's worth it.
Let's see. Do you answer? Well, I think you answered everything that was on here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we learned a lot. I didn't know all this about you, Lovail.
I know you did. I said, oh, I got something to tell him. I'm gonna be featured one day. I'm gonna be on there. I'm gonna be interviewed. I got a whole life history to tell him. So
Now, um, let me see. I don't think we have any other questions. So we always end, I guess with a theme song.